Good evening, everybody. Well, it's night 2 for the Subaru, and as you can see, like I said the last time, I wanted to put it on the hoist so I can do some work. Now, I haven't got a huge amount of time tonight, but I've got some time, so let's do some work. Now, what's happened today? The oil cooler has turned up for it, so I'm going to go hopefully put that in, and also the heat exchanger, and then I want to cut the radiator down, but that may not happen tonight. Now, I've got a new bandsaw turning up hopefully tomorrow, so maybe that will be the first job in utilising that to cut the radiator down. So my investigations today have found that the Subaru radiator that's in the car is actually bigger than a factory FD intercooler. Sorry, jeez. The radiator that's in the Subaru is actually bigger than a factory FD radiator. So even when I cut the section off the bottom of it, it's still going to have more surface area than a factory FD one. It's the same thickness as this PWR one here. So essentially it's wider, it's taller, and it's just as thick as this one. So I've used that as my my cue that I can chop this up, get it to fit in where I need to without worrying too much. Yeah, so I'm just going to rip into it. I'm going to get the bumper off and see if I can get everything to start fitting in place. Now the oil cooler is going to sit roughly just behind the grill, where the grill should sit. And by moving or removing this guy here, I should be able to get everything to fit where I need it to. And then I've got to change some ends around, cut a few things up to get everything to fit. So let's pull the car down, have a quick look, and see what we can do in terms of placement of parts and stuff like that. Okay, so bumper is now off. We have full access. So what we need to do is we want to fit this radiator under this panel here, and we kind of want to set it on top of here, right? So what we need to do is I'm going to have to cut along here, but we also need to do new end tanks, or at least cap these guys once that's all cut it down. So what I'm thinking is if I take this pin here. Now, if I cut it, say here, through there, that's our line, and that's pretty much already, that's pretty much already in line, but we're going to need to cut a little bit more off. So if we just go here, and we come through here, then that should hopefully give me enough for two things here. So first of all, we're going to need to make a new bottom of the radiator. So I need to cap that off, and basically this last one here is going to become unusable. We're not going to worry if it's non-existent. We might need to drop it down a little bit. But anyway, that gives me enough to go on. As you can see, it's super tight in there. I might actually wait till I got the bandsaw to do this, because otherwise I'll just make a mess of it, and at least with the bandsaw I can just like cut it through straight. But let's get this guy off. Yeah, this will just be spot welded in. There's a spot weld there, a spot weld there. I imagine there's a couple under there. So we'll go ahead and get that done, eh? now that's out. So, alright, so where are we? I kind of want the radiator in there because I need to fit the grill in. So what I might do here, ladies and gents, is I might pop the radiator back in. I might see. I really kind of have to cut that up, don't I? Do I care? Do I care? Alright, so I now have a plan. So I'll tell you what I'm doing. These mounts on the top, and I cut these off because I no longer need them. I'm going to retain these mounting points. I'm going to cut from that line here, not that lower one. I'm going to cut through that line there, and then, but I'll cut it below this bar, this tube, sorry. I'll cut it below that tube so that I've got enough meat to weld the new end tank portion on, and same over there obviously. And then by cutting these tabs off, the radiator should hopefully just sit underneath this support panel. So that's probably the best way moving forward. So I'm going to go and do that, sit it where it wants to, and I'll go grab the oil cooler and the heat exchanger, and I'll try and fit it all in and see where it wants to sit, and then we'll figure out where we can go from there. I'll be back shortly. So I have the radiator installed. Here we go. It's exactly what I wanted. As you can see, sits in here. I've got plenty of clearance. I've just got my little foam in there just to give us a rough indication where it's going to sit. Now I've got these guys to sort out. So this is my oil cooler. And look, I am aware that this isn't the best quality oil cooler for this application. It's a temporary measure. It's something to put in the car for now, and it will allow me to start it and run it and all that sort of stuff. I don't envisage using it for dyno tuning and all that sort of stuff. I'm planning on swapping it out for something better. But for now, we can get it mounted and we'll at least have something in it. So anyway, then we have the, I can get this out of the box, the heat exchanger, which is this guy. So that is going to mount like that, and that is going to mount like that on front of here. So we are not going to use these. My idea is that I'm going to cut off this. I'll remachine these down, and then I'll end up welding them on the end here, or I'll remake the end tank or whatever. But you're not going to use that. I will use these. I'll probably mount it off the sides versus the top, but that's all going to depend on what I get up to there. So I think what I do now is let's get these sitting in place on something so that at least we've got some sort of reference as to where everything's going to sit. We also need to think about getting hoses through and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with the clearance here. As you can see, I just used I got an old like building jigsaw that I used. It's not as nice as a bandsaw, but again, as you can see, this is damaged. I don't really care. It allows me to get through this tonight, and then I can do, like, I can buy another radiator or a core to size or whatever, and I'll just redo some of it later on. But at least now we can get it up and running, or at least do the fab work and stuff like that. And one extra step closer to having things done. I also like the fact that it's given me the space, I think, to get some fans on the other side of the radiator, so that's fixed another problem also. So all in all, win-win. Anyway, so I'm just going to go get these set up to sit on something, and then we can have a look to see what we're looking for spacing wise and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so I've now got this, more or less sitting where I want it to sit. And now, if I can hold the camera properly, now I need to figure out how I'm going to mount it. So there's a few possibilities here. I might try and make it so the radiator can come out in place without the heat exchanger and the oil cooler being attached. I may make it so that both of those units are part of the radiator, but it does make it difficult. If I've ever got a problem, I've got to pull the front bumper off. So I'll probably lean towards the idea of making it so the radiator can come out independently from the other stuff. But yeah, I've just got to figure out some packaging issues, mounting issues. What do we got? So I want to sit this guy as far in as I can. I actually want to sit them both in as far as I can. I don't want to remove, I don't want to take away too much airflow. So the idea is for us to get some sort of air dam going in through here, and encapsulating this whole area from the front bumper, be it that one or an aftermarket one. But I think just to help us achieve the most space possible, I'm probably just going to try and mount this up and sit on top of this ledge here, and that will allow us to get it as far back as possible so that any aftermarket bumper that we have, etc., it's not really going to get in the way. So I think first things first is I'll get some sort of rigidity on this top, this actual radiator here, and then I'll look at mounting this one first, because that will sit on this ledge essentially, and then I can worry about the oil cooler later, because once this is rigid, this will be much easier to mount. I can probably even just mount it off the side of here, like coming to here and here and here and here, but that may change considering I'm planning on relocating these guys. So there's lots of things to factor in here, but all in all, I think it's gonna be pretty easy. So I'll go ahead and get the radiator sort of like a little bit more rigid, and then I can look at maybe mounting that heat exchanger by the end of the night. What's the time now? It's 6:45. So yeah, if I go and get that done, stop talking, bye. Ladies and gents, ta-da! Okay, cool. I did a couple of real simple mounts for the radiator. One there, still need to tighten that down. And then, as you can see, plenty of room for the crank, and hopefully we can fit some fans in there. Now, these guys, that's pretty much the only place that they can mount. I kind of like where everything's sitting. I'm gonna have to make a couple of little changes. This oil cooler, I'm gonna nuzzle up under this headlight bracket here. This guy can pretty much stay here, but I am going to have to relocate this drain. So I'll just cut that off and move it towards the end here. What else is there? Oh, I've got to cut these end tanks off and then move. So basically what's going to happen is if I move this down, that'll come across. That'll butt into there like that, but it will sit a bit higher. And then what I'm envisioning is I'll get probably rid of these, and I'll get some lower mount, and I'll probably run like some ORB banjos, just because they are the tightest that I can get. I don't really have another option there unless I put something here and then just come through the grill, but I haven't got the grill, so, well, it might be up in boxes and stuff, but it's not here. Anyway, otherwise pretty straightforward. And then what I'm going to do first is mount. If I mount this guy, then I can mount this guy. I've got to have some sort of starting point. So what I think I'll do is I'll probably go ahead and cut that off, because that's interfering with me sitting in behind here. And I will put a space between the radiator core and the end tanks of this heat exchanger, like just some cardboard or something like that, just to space it off. You don't really want them touching because they'll vibrate and whatever else. Anyway, so yeah, I will get this mounted, space it out, cut that off, then I can cut these tabs off, then I can mount that, but the night's getting on a bit. So what I'm going to do is, yeah, I'll cut that off now. I'll try and do some quick mounts, and then hopefully we can have that done before the end of the night. So it's it's past 8 o'clock now. I'm going to call it a night pretty much. I've done one bracket. I've got that guy there. I've obviously put some nutserts in, got that ready to go, and I've templated the other side as well. So I'm just going to go and weld that onto there, and then at least that will be mounted on one side. And then I can worry about that one tomorrow. So these guys here are going to be changing. I'm not going to have those there, so I'm just going to replicate that mount on this side, and then these hoses are probably going to come one up, oh no, through here, and then another one through there, or something like that. I'll figure it out. I might even put like a little bulkhead there or something, just to make the interchange a bit easier. Yeah, but once I got them mounted, obviously I can do the oil cooler, and then everything's hunky-dory. So, I'm going to call it a night for now. Yeah, so 8:05, I think I'm done. So yeah, catch you next time when I'm doing the oil cooler and hopefully some intercooler piping. So see you then.